Okay, so we live in a world that's just constant overload, right? Well, there's this philosophy called essentialism that's like a powerful filter for all that noise. And listen, it's not about getting more done, it's about getting the right things done. So let's dive in and see how it actually works.
So let me ask you something. Does this feel familiar? I mean, you're constantly busy, right? Running around all day, your to-do list is just endless, but then Friday rolls around and you look back and think, what did I actually accomplish? You feel like you made zero real progress on the things that actually matter. If that's you, trust me, you are definitely not alone.
You know that feeling? It's kind of become the default setting for so many of us. We're just living in this constant state of reaction, getting pulled in a million different directions at once. And we've somehow convinced ourselves that being busy equals being effective. But it's just not true. All right, let's take a look at what we might call the non-essentialist. See if any of this rings a bell. The mindset is basically, I have to do it all. The default action? Just reacting to whatever's making the most noise. That latest email, the person who sounds the most urgent. And the result? Well, you feel totally spread thin, you're tired all the time. I mean, it is a classic recipe for burnout. Okay, but here's the good news. There is a really powerful antidote to this. It's all about a shift in how you think, and it boils down to this simple, but honestly profound mantra. Less, but better. And that right there, that's the heart of the essentialist mindset. So, what is essentialism, really? Well, at its core, it's the disciplined pursuit of less, but better. And I really want to focus on that word, disciplined. It's so important. Because this isn't just about clean your desk or downloading another productivity app. No, it's a conscious, deliberate choice you make to filter out all the noise and focus only on what is absolutely, truly vital. There's this quote from Greg McKeown, the guy who really brought this idea to the forefront, and it's such a wake-up call. He said, if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. If you aren't in the driver's seat of your own life, you're basically letting everyone else, social pressure, your email inbox, your boss's agenda, you're letting them set your priorities for you. Becoming an essentialist really comes down to making a few key mindset shifts. It's about going from that powerless feeling of I have to do this to the much more empowering reality of I choose to do this. It's about stopping the lie that it's all important and accepting the truth that actually only a few things really matter. And this one is huge. You have to reject the myth that you can do both and instead embrace the fact that I can do anything, but I can't do everything. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we put it into practice? Well, it all starts with step one, explore and discern. This is all about learning how to filter opportunities and figure out what's truly essential before you say yes to anything. And here's a fantastic tool to help you with that. It's called the 90% rule. It's super simple. When you're looking at a new opportunity, just mentally score it from 0 to 100 on how much it lines up with what's most important to you. Now, here's the trick. If it's not a 90 or above, you treat it like a 0. It's an automatic no. This is so powerful because it stops you from collecting all those pretty good things that just end up cluttering your life and draining your energy. Or hey, if you want an even simpler, more gut-level way to think about it, just use the hell yes test. If your immediate, honest reaction to a new project or an invitation isn't a loud, enthusiastic hell yes, then it needs to be a very clear and graceful no. All right, so you've started filtering. You're getting better at identifying what isn't essential. So what's next? Well, now you have to actively eliminate it. And this is where you need to master two really critical skills: the art of saying a graceful no and knowing when to strategically quit. Look, let's be honest. So often we say yes just because we're afraid of the social awkwardness of saying no, right? We don't want to seem unhelpful, but an essentialist understands that protecting their time and their focus is just non-negotiable. Seriously, learning how to say no politely is one of the most valuable skills you will ever develop, because a clear no is always, always better than a resentful, half-hearted yes. But, okay, how do you actually say no without burning bridges? Here's a super simple but incredibly effective script you can use. First, you acknowledge their request. Then, you clearly state that you can't do it. And finally, you briefly explain that you're focused on other priorities. The key here is that it's not an excuse, it's a statement of fact about your priorities. And what this does is it separates the decision from the relationship. And you'd be surprised how often people totally respect that.
Okay, on to the final step. This is where everything really starts to click. Once you've cleared away all that non-essential clutter, the goal is to design systems that make doing the essential things as easy and frictionless as possible. The focus shifts, you see. It's not about trying harder, it's about removing the obstacles in your way.
And a perfect example of a system like this is the buffer rule. We all know this, right? Life is messy. Things almost never go exactly according to plan. So instead of pretending they will, why not just plan for it? It's simple. If you think a task is going to take 2 hours, block out 3 hours on your calendar. That extra 50% buffer is there to absorb all the unexpected stuff that pops up. It dramatically reduces chaos and lets you get things done with way less stress and, honestly, with better results.
So, when you put all three of these steps together, first you explore, then you eliminate, and then you execute, something really profound happens. You stop living a life by default, and you start living a life by design. You go from being a passenger, just reacting to whatever comes your way, to being the pilot, intentionally steering your life toward what truly matters to you. Now, remember that table we looked at in the beginning? Let's go back to it. But this time, look at the transformation. For the essentialist, the mindset isn't I have to do it all. It's less, but better. The action isn't reacting to the loudest noise. It's consciously choosing what is vital. And the result? Well, instead of feeling spread thin and completely tired, you feel in control. And maybe most importantly, you feel like you're actually making an impact. So, to wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to get you started on your own essentialist journey. And I want you to notice something about this question. It doesn't ask what bad thing you're going to say no to. The real challenge, the real art of essentialism is learning to say no to good opportunities so that you can make room for the truly great ones. So think about it. What's the one good thing you're going to say no to this week?